Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. I will apologize in advance. I'm getting over what I think was the flu. So I got a little bit of sniffling going on. Nobody likes Mr. Sniffles, but unfortunately that's what we're dealing with here. Alright, we are doing the tech tree spotlight for the Tier 7 German destroyer Z-23 on northern waters. I believe we're down here, if I saw that quick view of the teams correctly. We're just heading to Charlie. Z-23, in my opinion, is not a very powerful destroyer at the tier. At some point, we will go over some stats and the history of the ship here. But really, my opinion in this ship is you've got a low DPM on your guns, you've got a low DPM on your torpedoes. I don't really know how you're supposed to tear it up in this thing unless you get really lucky. So you've just got to shoot as much ordnance as you can whenever you can. And here we're going to turn and get some torpedoes off at the Marlborough. Alright, as we continue really quickly, this destroyer is part of the 1936A destroyer class, or the Z-23 class. So really, the Z-23 precedes the Z-35 and the Z-39, two Tier 6 premium destroyers in development. Those are part of the 1936A mob refinement of this class, so why they are a tier lower doesn't make any sense to me at all. I guess you would have to work for Wargaming to figure that out. So in theory, those two destroyers should be tier 7 destroyers. So I don't know how to explain that. Anyway, here we got a torpedo strike on, I guess, the Marlborough. We're sending more torpedoes. We are spotted, so we're going to throw up our smoke screen and attempt to stop. And as you can see, it's taking a while to come to a stop. But we do set the Marlborough on fire. We have more torpedoes headed his way. And it looks like he's going to get at least one of them. And so that's good. We're going to continue to shoot these 150 millimeter guns, so that HE's got a nice splash. I don't know necessarily if he's going to keep going or not. I guess he is, so we will, I guess, finish him off there. First blood.
We've destroyed an enemy battleship. Off to a great start.
And got a Musashi over here waiting for him to get clear of the island. That's not going to happen. Torpedoes coming in from another destroyer, which I think is a Jervis, maybe? Oh, it can't be a Jervis. If we're top tier, it can't be a Jervis. I don't know what other ship sent those torpedoes. There is that solo base cap. So over here, we've done our job. We took out a battleship and captured the base. And still a little bit of time left on my smoke. Still debating who should I torp at. Marco Polo looks like a great choice here, so we will torp to where the indicator last was going at, and we already got a reload for our second set of torps. So we're just going to peel back here.
All stations, proceed to capture that area.
Still trying to spot that other destroyer. Marco has his rolling smoke on. The maneuverability, you can see here, leaves a little bit to be desired. Although it's not terrible, it's not great. I mean, I hate to say it, that's my impression of the Z-23. It doesn't do anything great. The only thing it really has going for it is it has a lot of hit points, and it's got this sonar, so you could do a smoke sonar combo, but it's only a very short-range sonar. 4.4 kilometers, I guess. So, I mean, if you're going up against another destroyer who doesn't know what to do when you smoke sonar him, or he stupidly gets about 4 kilometers from you and you can light him up, you're going to kill that guy, okay? But you do not have the DPM to compete in a gun battle with a Fletcher or a Friesland or any other gunboat at this tier, and you don't do enough torpedo damage to have that chip in reliably to help you out, you know? That's why I'm saying you got to launch these torpedoes whenever you can, because they don't do very good damage. We'll talk about that when we go over the stats. Compare it to other battleship destroyers, pardon me, at the tier. Here we got spotted again by the battleship, the Musashi. So just trying to do this S maneuver to create a little bit of space. For some reason, we're still spotted because the is it a cruiser or another battleship got closer. So we're just running away. You really got to manage your concealment here. Long range fire, all missed, thankfully. The Marco Polo, he's advancing all over the place. Musashi, I just don't really like a lot of these options in terms of launching my torps. So I think we'll launch them right there. And again, we'll shoot our guns, but then we got to turn away again because this is just a big ship and we're using a no concealment inspiration build. So we don't have very good concealment. So you got to manage that, you know. Torpedoes coming in on Marco Polo there. A couple of torpedo strikes. Again, not a ton of damage. We do start some flooding. That's good. And so we're just going to continue this S maneuver until we can throw up our smoke screen and do a little damage farming. While we are farming the damage, I will talk about the stats. Per WoW's builds, peer comparison, hit points. Out of 20, including premiums, ships at the tier, Z-23 is 5th in hit points. High explosive damage per minute. It is 15, with just 98,507 in the unmodified state. Armor piercing DPM, 12th with 165,672. Torpedo damage out of 20 ships, and keep in mind the Friesland has no torpedo damage. Third from the bottom, 17th. So only the Loyang of the Ostergotland have worse torpedo DPM than, or torpedo damage, pardon me, than this ship. And the maximum speed, we're in the middle of the pack, 37 knots. The top is the Yolo Emilio with 43.5 knots. So, HE DPM, unimpressive. Armor piercing DPM, a little bit better. Torpedo damage, some of the worst. Concealment, not great. Speed, average. Hit points, good. So that's kind of the picture. You've got a average speed destroyer with not great concealment. You do have a lot of hit points. You have terrible high explosive DPM. You're not going to out DPM hardly anyone. You've got okay armor piercing DPM. You knew that. These destroyers have kind of like a cruiser killer role. Here we're going to start open water farming damage from the Marlborough because there's only 3 enemy ships left. You know, I mean, this match is a good match in the Z-23, I think. But the Z-23 as a whole has been power crept a lot, mostly by premiums. You know, Paolo Emilio, Caprice, which I'm never going to own, Summer CE, Friesland, Loyang, Kirasame. I don't even have that to compare it. Black, ZF6, Northern Dragon. All those are relatively newer. And I think the Z-23 has been power crept by a lot of those premiums. So just among the Tier 7 destroyers, it's not that strong. But with all those premiums, it becomes a lot weaker. Alright, so here we are on the victory screen. We end up with the first blood medal. 117,860 total damage. 5 torpedo strikes, just the 1 kill. And the 1 solo base cap, and we threw in the 3 cap defended flags. We ended up with 284,592 silver, 5835 ship XP and commander XP in the Z-23. All right, there we are at the top of the board, 2593. As you know, I consider 2500 base XP to be the baseline for a GG. So a GG to ourselves and a GG to the Ruprecht and a GG to the Marlboro. Team effort there, you know. Enemy team didn't put up much resistance, and so we didn't have any problem beating them. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. All right, let's go into the port and take a look at the ship. Thankfully, I have my glasses here. All right, upgrades. Aiming system mod 1. Propulsion mod 2. Concealment system mod 1. And main battery mod 3. And it is fully upgraded. I think I'm going to take this off to show you. You can swap out the 150s for the 128s. Am I going to do that or not? You have a much quicker reload on these 150s than earlier in the line, so I wouldn't put the 128s on. I think you lose a turret when you do that, and so I wouldn't recommend it. There we are, yeah. So you can see you do lose a turret by doing that, and you lose a lot of damage. And so you will get a faster DPM, but I just don't recommend that for this ship. I don't think you would. Basically, it's going to be a wash. You lose the gun barrel, and so I don't recommend that. That's just my opinion. I would love to hear your opinions in the comments. All right. Okay, moving on to the loadout. 2 charges of the smoke generator, 2 charges of the engine boost, and 2 charges of the sonar. Because we were, 4.4 kilometers, sorry. Running the rare battle booster because we have 4 consumables, Type 9 permanent camouflage, and of course the early adopter flag. 22,300 hit points with our build. So it's going to be a boost from the base value that I read you in the stats. Main batteries, you got 1 twin turret in the front and 3 single turrets that are more in the rear of the ship. Firing range 10.6 kilometers, 5.4 second reload, 17.2 second turn time. HE shells 2200 max damage, 12% fire chance. Armor piercing shells 3700 max damage. 2 quad launchers, reload every 90 seconds, max damage just 14,400. 9.5 kilometer range at 66 knots. The detectability is 1,400 meters. AA defense, you can see your main battery is not dual purpose. This is pretty poor. Your best guns are the 37 millimeter flak. They go out to 3.5 kilometers. Maneuverability, 38.1 knots with our build, 680 meter turning circle, 4.9 second rudder shift time. Concealment, 5.2 in the surface, 2.9 from the air, 2.5 when firing in smoke. Armor viewer, nothing special except for the armored face on that front turret, and that's fine and dandy. The rest of this armor is all 20 millimeters. Erich Bai, our commander, he is fully maxed out. Shifty base trait. Got Billy Sims and Sajen Bing. Really the same build that we use with the iBling, Z-23, and all the rest of the ships that are tier 5 and above with this tech tree here. So you can see twist and track there, a little turret traverse action, smoke on the water. You know, pretty standard commander build for the Z-23. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. I will see you on the next one with the Z-46. By the way, if you haven't checked out my clip, the double strike, please check that out. Maybe clip of the week contender.